Today's the first Sunday of Lent. I have sent out, as of Ash Wednesday, devotionals, links to devotionals, and other resources. If you don't get those emails and you want access to those, please see me after church so that I can make sure you're receiving those communications. And or if you're on the list but you're still not getting them, please tell me so I can make sure you're getting them. We have a Lenten Bible study that begins this Tuesday. We're going to be meeting at the Starbucks in North Conway. The Whitney Community Center is starting to charge nonprofits to meet there. So for now, we're going to try some different meeting places and see what works best for us. This continues the multi-church Bible study series that we have been doing since last summer. And we're doing Matt Saccato's book on Jesus for Lent. So we'll begin this Tuesday, 6:30, Starbucks in North Conway. Come early to get your favorite beverage. It depends on the time. I'll look into it, but we're going to start at the Starbucks and then if we can rethink it. Or I'll send out an email saying that we've changed it. Other announcements, Jeanette.
You'll notice there's an insert in the bulletin talking about the 5 donations that the conference collects each year. Rather than having 5 separate collections, we do this twice a year. We just say, please use this envelope and indicate how much you'd like to give to each of the funds. So you can write one check for the total or put in a bill and then just divide it up how you'd like it to be divided. But please fill this out because that tells us how you'd like the money to be distributed. So we'll have these in the pew every Sunday during March. If you don't have a checkbook or whatever today, there's still time. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention because kind of lead up the Whitney Community Center. So I'm not sure about that information because all nonprofits should be able to use the Whitney.
No, it's not the Whitney. It's the North Conway.
Oh, it's the North Conway Community.
Yeah.
Okay. But
it's a multi. Yeah, no, we meet in Conway because of we're multiple locations.
Just you didn't want it to be clear.
Not missing the Whitney. The Whitney's open to like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bertie.
I have applications for campus scholarships, and I have them out here in the foyer and also in the community room. So if anybody knows a family that has any age child that would benefit from a scholarship to camp for this summer, let me know or pick up an application that has all the information you need on it. So they don't have to be members of the church, it's just anybody in the valley that you know has the
And we're going to do passing of peace, but because, one, we do have people who already have compromised immune systems because they're on different kinds of active treatment for different diagnoses, and two, because we're practicing for concern over contagious illnesses, we're going to try doing passing of the peace with elbow bumping and peace signs, okay? So try for the no hugs, no shaking hands. We're just going to try to keep each other healthy. Stay in your seat.
stay healthy.
You can get up, but just go across the aisle and pass the peace sign. But keep it local, but make sure that you're still introducing yourself. If there's somebody you don't know, please try to make friends. 2 minutes of passing the peace, but peace signs and elbow bumps. Yeah, I have a timer. Alan has a timer. When the music stops, go back to your seats. Feel free to pass the peace. culturally. When we say that we are passing the peace, we are passing the peace of Christ. You can consider that this is part of the liturgy, and even though it feels social, remember that what we are passing is we are offering each other the peace of Christ. And particularly during our Lenten journey, know that when you offer somebody the sign of peace, or an elbow bump, or your presence even for a moment, you are recognizing each other as children of God, and you are wishing each other peace in the journey that we are taking together, that we go into ourselves, we go out into the world, and you're offering each other the peace that we each need to carry with us on this journey, because we live busy, complicated lives in a very busy and demanding world. And this peace, even though it's boisterous, is the peace that should live deep inside of you, and sometimes you have to reach for it. But know that it's only an elbow bump or a peace sign away. When you need it, you can find it. Sue, would you offer us music to get us centered?
Alan will be offering us music.
Underneath our words, so hence the dash. Please join me in the call to worship. Who are you, we ask? Who are you? We've queried it for centuries. Who are you? We ask it even now. Today we come to you still wondering, who are you? This morning, you say to us, I am bread and life. Yet you also guide us through a Lenten journey that leads us not towards more reassuring answers, but toward more uncomfortable questions. Please rise, if you're able, for Psalm number 12, Immortal, Invisible, God only wise, verses 1 and 3. Now is the time when we offer prayers out loud, followed by a moment of silence in the Lord's Prayer. We have a lot of prayers this morning, and there are some really heavy ones. So again, let us hold each other with peace and with a hope for healing, where healing is possible. So I offer you first prayers that have already been asked. Within my own family, Chris's father died a year ago through a stroke, and Paulette has been his partner for the last 20 years. Ted's wife died 25 years ago. Paulette had a stroke this week. She is stable, but we will be going down to New Jersey next week to be with her and spend time with her. Jerry Tilton will be covering the pulpit next week for us. So we ask that you will hold Paulette in your prayers. While she is stable, she's also very vulnerable, and she lost the great love of her life, and we hope that she wants to stay in the world. And sometimes the desire to stay here is part of what keeps us here. We ask for the following people to be held in prayer. Maggie, who is undergoing chemo. She's the daughter of Karen Flickinger. Ken Martin, who is a member of M&D, and is going through a third round of struggling with stomach cancer. Michael, brother of Lori Kinsey, also living with cancer, and her nephew, Frank, who they believe is clear of esophageal cancer. Brian, who is recovering from a head injury. Seal, who has been living with cancer and is vigiling with cancer. Sophie, who is the daughter of people who live in Jackson and has just been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. She lives in Alaska. Her parents will be going back and forth. So we pray for Sophie and for her parents. Cheryl, our dear friend, who's living with breast cancer and is actively undergoing treatment now. And Barry Grogel, who was in a catastrophic ski accident on Wednesday during the ski meisters at Cranmore and is paralyzed from the chest down. It's very unlikely that their family will return to the community. They will probably be living in their home in Plymouth, Mass. So we may see them in the midst of their move, but their life is forever transformed. So we have a lot of life-altering circumstances this week for a lot of people, It takes a lot of people to hold up a lot of people. We just had a Circle of Caring meeting this morning about how we can, by having one-on-one friends in our community, hold each other up. Because no one person can do it all. It takes all of us to love each other and lift each other up. Are there prayers you would wish to add to these that have already been raised up? Sue.
Our friend Barbie Brown is a tad bit under the weather, and I'll be seeing her this afternoon. But just keep her in your prayers. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Barbie Brown could use some prayers. Other prayers. Gina.
There's my friend Faith. She has Lyme disease and she's staying home. And she's been staying home for a while. So we hope that she gets better and is able to go back to school.
Prayers for Gina's friend Faith, who is living with Lyme disease and it's keeping her out of school. So, sometimes those little buggers. Kevin?
Prayers for the reverends and pastors in the community and some are named. And prayer for Sue, Antonella, and Jeanette to have good health, and also all the members of our church to have good health. And prayers for my friend Ben, who has something coming up from his colon cancer from the past. He has to get treated. Also, he has a blockage. I don't know if it's in the artery in his neck that he has to get treated too. So he has a lot of issues going on with him. So prayer for him and his sister who has MS. And prayer for my neighbor Sam, whose sister has MS. And
for those living with MS, and for Ben, who's got a couple of issues going on, colon cancer related and other things too. And for the health and well-being of all people in this community. Other prayers. We ask for prayers of celebration too. And today we had the delightful visit of an 80-year-old guest in Jackson who came to the 8 o'clock service as we sing her happy birthday. Her name's Margarita. And today is actually her birthday, so she chose to celebrate it with us. So we give thanks for milestones that cause us to pause and reflect on our life and who we are. Other prayers of gratitude or celebration? Kevin?
as always, I'm grateful for the people that are supporting me, and grateful for the sunshine, like I always say in the winter for some reason, because I don't see as many animals. But I think I saw my first robin with my friend Ben, so I was happy to see the birds coming back. And once in a while you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. And remember, it's the thought that counts.
So for the capacity to see the light in different places you didn't expect it, and for the actual sunshine in winter?
Yes, celebration. There's only 18 more days till spring.
18 more days to the official spring countdown.
Gratitude for when our bodies are healthy, for the miraculous things that they're capable of doing.
Gratitude for bodies that when they are healthy, the miraculous things they're capable of doing. Thank you.
I'd like to express gratitude for the supportive musicians that we have. Express gratitude for sometimes they get along the world.
Gratitude for the special gifts of our musicians and our artists in this community, and when people share their gifts with us. And again, help us to hear differently and see differently and experience the world differently. Give thanks for people that remind us of what we need to be grateful for. And prayers. Let us be in prayer. Oh Christ, this is a journey that we take with you. We take it in memory of you and in celebration of your life and your love, your walk towards death and your journey beyond death, returning to us. It would be a different story had you not returned to us, but you did. And here we are. And in your presence, we lift up the names of those who need healing, or simply dignity and comfort as they come towards the end of their mortal lives. We give thanks for the lives that have touched ours, for people who have gone ahead of us, who we mourn and miss, but we are grateful that they have been part of our journey. We give thanks for the chance to pause and celebrate during this journey, anniversaries and birthdays and special moments that help us reflect and gain a little perspective and catch our breath. We give thanks for the chance and the practice of gratitude, the gifts that we give each other to see and to hear and to experience the world differently. We ask you to remind us that our journey doesn't begin on Ash Wednesday and end on Easter, but it begins the moment that we first take a breath that continues to the last breath we draw, and even beyond that, because you are the love that birthed us into the world, and you are the love that welcomes us home. We sink into your presence, and we offer you our silence. We pray together, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. And Lord, would you come up first and read Exodus?
Before I begin, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Forgive me. And that is that I put the wrong numbers up for the songs. The number 12 was okay, but I don't know where I got 102. And then 44 is good, and 206 comes before 44. So don't get too confused with the program. Pay attention to the program. Pay no attention to the board. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Exodus 3:13 through 15. But Moses said to God, If I come to the Israelites and say to them, The God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, What is his name? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. He said further, Thus you shall say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, Thus you shall say to the Israelites, The Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my title for all generations.
This is a reading from John chapter 6, verses 29 to 35. Jesus answered them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent." So they said to him, "What sign are you going to give us then, so that we may see it and believe you? What work are you performing? Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, 'He gave them bread from heaven to eat.'" And then Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to this world." They said to him, "Sir, give us this bread always." And Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty."
Please pray with me. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. So Ash Wednesday really began marking our journey through Lent, which brings us towards Easter. However, today is the first Sunday of Easter. Sunday school's heading out. It's such a rare experience. That today, let us begin our Lenten journey together as a church. You know that the AMC and that most wilderness training groups recommend that there are 10 essential things that you put inside your backpack anytime you're going into the woods, because even the most casual outing can turn into a more dangerous experience. You never know when you might trip or fall or get lost or come across somebody else that needs your help, right? And so they ask that you carry these 10 essential items, and someday I'll know what all 10 essential items are. I'm still learning. But this Lent, we're going to be looking at 7 statements from Christ, and I want us to think about them as essential items that we bring along on our journey. They are 7 statements that say who Christ is in his own words from the Gospel of John. And the one that we're focusing on today is, "I am bread and life." I am the bread of life. We deliberately put it in relationship with God's own statement to Moses about who God is. And I want to think about these 2 I am statements together. Moses could have walked past the burning bush. Imagine that other people did, right? Somebody else could have been the savior of the Egyptian people and the Israeli people from Egypt. But instead, Moses is the guy. He's the guy that stopped and paid attention, and then he got curious, and he went over and he took his shoes off because he recognized that he was on holy ground. But then he didn't just do whatever was told to him to do. He interrogated God. And that's part of the power of Moses, that Moses had this deep relationship with God, and he was curious, and he was an ambassador between his people and God's self. And so Moses dares to ask the presence in the burning bush, "Who are you?" Because I can't just go tell my people any old story. They're not going to just do whatever you say to do. So who are you? And this is the famous statement that we hear so often translated as, "I am who I am." In Hebrew, there isn't actually a verb that's like a to-be verb. And so it can be translated in many different ways. And frequently now, theologians will also translate it as, "I will be who I will be." constantly God's self. God was, God is, God will be. God is constantly present and constantly God's self. Time is almost immaterial to God's answer about who God is. There's even a version of the translation that says, I will create whatever I will create. And it's kind of exciting to think that the act of creation itself isn't something that's all a done deal. God figured out the world, put us in it, made the template, let us loose, and everything's done. The act of creation itself can be said to be an ongoing experience. God is only one moment ahead of us, thinking about what the world might be, and responding to and always constantly transforming this world. And so if God says, I will create whatever I will create, God may be creating the moment that is right ahead of you. It isn't necessarily all foreordained and foretold. It may simply be one breath ahead of where you are right now. Then we think about what Christ says when he's asked and he's telling his disciples, comparing the manna, the bread of heaven that was sent to those Israelites when they were in Exodus. And he says, you can have access to that regularly. Give it to us. We want that. They're already in the presence of it. Christ is saying that he himself is the bread and the life that people need, and that bread, that life, is gift. It is a gift that is given to all people. And when he says that, he's not talking about a loaf that was baked in somebody's oven, a loaf such as the one that we will break open this morning. He's being more metaphorical than that. He's talking about love, tangible, irresistible, stubborn love that walks towards death and stands between you and death and challenges death itself to come back to you, to connect you to holiness, to connect you to yourself, to connect you to creation and each other. This is a love that we need as much as we need everything in the backpack that we carry with us out into the woods. It is the love and the bread that we need to carry with us in our Lenten journey when we think about who we are when we are connected to God or each other. And it is the bread that we need every day of our lives. What would it be like to live in a world where there was no love? Where love wasn't tangible and it didn't make a difference and it didn't show up? Why would we want to even be in that world? And so in this Lenten journey, part of what we are asking is, who are we? Moses said, who are you to God? The disciples asked again and again, and Jesus started actually giving them answers in the Gospel of John, saying, I am the bread of life. But part of the question that's implicit in this journey is, who are we? Who are we in the presence of God? Who are we on our journey? Are we some thick summary of our geology, our geography, our biology, our mental chemistry, the people that are our ancestors, the tradition that we came out of? Are we a fixed sum? When we talked about it at the 8 o'clock, Margarita, who was celebrating her 80th birthday, was saying, well, you know, I connect with the idea that Mary Dickworth told us about the third, you should call it like the third nation or the third culture. That people can be from more than one place, and they can be in this sort of third place because we're not an either or, we're both and. We come from someplace. We live someplace else. We started in one culture and we end up in another culture and we mix up all those things and they become who we are. And Margarita said, well, you know, I'm from Sweden, and I left there when I was 25, and now I'm 80, and I've decided that I should stop working full time. I've been working for 60 years, And now I've decided that I should take a break, but I needed a goal in order to help myself stop working full time, because it's hard to stop working if you've been working that long. What do you do? Who are you when you change your life like that? So she said, so I signed up for a reading class back in Sweden, and it'll go for about 3 months, and I'm on the waiting list, and I hope I get to do it, but even if I don't, I have a goal, and that's helping me get through the transition. There's a lot of wisdom in Margarita. Okay? One, she's celebrating a milestone, and she's taking time to take stock of her life and appreciate all that she has accomplished, which includes the 11 family members that came to be with her this weekend in Jackson, where they could all do something that they enjoy together, which is, of course, skiing and eating. And she's ready to change her life and recognize that she's a different person and she deserves some time to do something different than she has. And she goes, my first identity is I'm a mother and a grandmother. That's really who I think of myself as being first, but I'm this person that's been working full time, and I'm Swedish and I'm American. But now I'm this other person, and I want to explore and give myself time to figure out who that person is too. There is a mindfulness and an immediacy to the way that Margarita is thinking about her life. Yes, she has a goal, but right now she's recognizing that she's in transition. And when we talked about it at the 8 o'clock, what we started to say was that when are we not in transition? You can't really say, oh, I'm only this person, and I'm from here, and I'm going to be that person. We're all always in transition. And we're more complicated than the either, or we are indeed the both and-ness of all that we have experienced and absorbed, what we were shaped by and from, but the choices that we have made, the thoughts we have thought, the emotions that we have experienced, the people that we have encountered. We are a summation of so many things, and we are the potential of what yet comes ahead of us. When Jesus calls himself bread, he does so because it's essential. And because in his ministry, before he ever answered somebody's question or gave them even a chance to ask them a question, he took care of their bodies first. I know that I mentioned this before, but every act of ministry usually began by feeding people, making sure that they had enough to drink, that they had a place to sit down and rest and have respite. He didn't start preaching or healing or anything else until he took care of bodies first. So when he says, I'm the bread of life, he's asking you to think about what you need in order to live. What is essential to you? Not just to survive, but to thrive. Because when he talks about bread, sure, he could mean the loaf and we could put it in our backpack and we'd have enough in our bellies to get us through the day. We'd have the calories that we need to replace the ones that we burned. But he's talking about the richness of our spiritual, emotional, and psychological lives. Who are we really? Are we just the body that we feed? Barry Chisholm's body changed this week, but his mind is completely intact. And what he's already begun to do with Jan is to be grateful for everything that remains. The movement that he has in his arms, the fact that he can speak and think and operate, that who he is in his mind and his heart is still right there. And though his body may have changed, the bread that he needs is the bread of connection and love and a sense of purpose. That he is not powerless in his life, but he still has so much that makes him who he is, and he can offer it to other people. One of the first things he did was to have conversations on the board of directors that he helps to serve on, and tell them, I want my place on the board because I can still do a lot. These are people from whom we can learn. Margarita celebrating her 80th birthday, and Barry just 3 or 4 days away from something that has changed him forever. Theirs is a different kind of a journey, but we are all journeying through our mortality. And every one of us needs, yes, bread and water and shelter, but we need the other kind of bread that Christ asks us to carry and be for each other. We are asked to break ourselves open and become that loaf, that love for other people. And we are asked to break ourselves open so that we can receive that love when we need it and be renewed by the love that others have to give us and the creativity that they have to offer us in their dancing and in their music and in their arts, or simply the beauty of friendship and the showing up of love in our lives. The first thing that we put in our Lenten backpack is the bread of life. And it is love. And probably every week I'm going to use another metaphor to say love is showing up and love is what we're putting in our backpack. But it has different tangible forms. And in this case, it is that we show up with tangible love. And we do take care of our bodies first, and our minds and our hearts. And we make space for what we need to make our life a whole life and a meaningful life. Because when we say, who are we in connection to God, it isn't just this flesh. It is the mind that sits in the skull, the soul that is bigger than all things, the heart that beats and loves other people and receives love in return. And sometimes parts of us are challenged. Sometimes our minds go astray or awry. Sometimes our very beating hearts are challenged, or our emotional lives are challenged. And it is love that will hold us up and connect us and be with us until we draw our last breath. And when we reach a destination at the end of this mortal journey and we put down the backpack, it is love that will hold us and embrace us and welcome us into the fullness of who we are in the presence of holy love. This week, Christ tells you, I am the bread and I am the life. Not I will be, not I was, right now, right here. I am that bread. I am that life. I am that love. Take what you need from me. Offer what you can for others. And partake. Thanks be to God. Please stand if you're able for Psalm 206, Lord of the Dance. And I think you guys chose verses, right? 1 through 3, is that right? Okay. Verses 1 through 3 of Lord of the Dance on page 206. Yes, those who are going to help with an offering come forward too. Awesome. You got this. Thank you. We ask that you will be generous and help in the way of bread that goes out into the world. We always. Please rise for the Doktor. Please pray with me. Oh, Holy God, we offer these gifts to you. We ask you to take them up and let them flow out into the world in ways that would surprise us or shock us and yet enlighten us. And we ask that as we allow these gifts to flow out, that your gifts will flow back to us and uphold us and heal us in the ways that we need healing and give us respite and renewal and strength for the journey. Thanks be to God. And so again, Ellen will offer music while we do our invocation. Please join me in this invocation. We ask you to draw near, bountiful God of creation, blessed brother Christ, beloved breath of God. You tell us who you are, bread and life, and then you show us again and again, restoring, renewing, and redeeming us. Like the bread and wine, our lives are yours. We give them into your keeping, your care. Friends, in order to fill a backpack with what we need, beginning with bread, we have to admit that we need something. We have to acknowledge that we are indeed mortal and vulnerable, and that with that comes the capacity to make mistakes, to be in the wrong, to be hurt by or to hurt others, and to be in need of restoration and healing and redemption. This is one of the reasons that we come together. It is one of the reasons that we sit in the presence of this holy love. And the promise of this holy love is that you are enough and more than enough. That simply who you are, sitting right now in the presence of this love, is exactly who God wants you to be and loves you for being. And yet God holds up the possibility of all that you might also be or become. This is the love. that defied death for you and came back beyond and through death for you, overturning it forever. You are love. Would the deacons please come forward? Friends, as Christ answered, telling people the story of manna, and then reminding them that when they asked for the bread that was the bread of heaven, that His presence among them and His love, that is the bread of heaven. And His body was indeed broken. He was human and He walked among us, and He walked towards death and experienced death itself and allowed His body to be broken so that He would know us fully and come back to us fully as a love that has been broken open for us. And so when you take of the bread and you eat of the bread, do so in remembrance of a love broken open for you. Take and eat. just as the grapes are plucked from the vine, and they are pressed and crushed, that the juice may flow out, and that they are transformed over time. Love has been transformed into something that changes each of us, and it flows out from the love, the source of love to us. And so, when you take of this cup and drink of this cup, do so in remembrance of the love that was pressed and changed for you. Drink in remembrance. Please pray with me. O holy God, we are your children, your brothers and your sisters, and we are made amazingly resilient and strong, creative, and yet also so vulnerable. Our journeys may be brief and they may be long, and yet you are with us always for every breath and heartbeat and step of the journey. May we seek you. May we welcome your love and be changed by your presence. And may we become a transforming love for those who need love present in their lives as well. We ask you to be present in the ways that we need you on this journey, and sometimes we don't even know how we need you. And yet you come to us. We give thanks for the gift of life and presence and love. Amen. And please stand for Psalm 102. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, followed by the benediction, and then yummy food at the of your parish.
Go in peace.